Everyone says that revenge doesn't taste like $1 billion. Bullshit! Not only that it tastes sweet, it will also make you extremely rich. Imagine becoming so successful that every single person that doubted you, or any person that might have betrayed you, will now think to themselves, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Imagine yourself being so angry, working so hard every single day to be able to get revenge on them. Thinking of all the people who judged you until now, wishing that they've supported you from the start. Today I will share with my fans one of my life-changing stories. When I was 19, I was running a business with a partner of mine. We did literally everything together. He was like a brother. See, I was 19, and for me, that was the first person that I truly felt like I could count on. The first person that I felt was a true brother. You remember when I was 17, I got kicked out of my house and I was homeless. But when I was 19, I did my birthday in jail. So when I came out, I met this guy and we opened up a business together. We became so close that brotherhood was something small to compare to it. For the first time in my life, I can tell you that I truly felt like there was somebody that would back me up absolutely no matter what. You could imagine when you're 19 years old and someone treats you like everything, gives you all the love in the world, shows you that he cares about you, and you have nobody. As smart as I was, you still believe a little bit more than you do today. Today, after many of these situations and many backstabbers, I've realized that not everybody are who they seem they are at first moment. They might seem amazing, they might seem like they love you, they might seem like they care about you, but in reality, they only want to get something from you. You see, I believed I could trust him, and I truly gave him my all. I was doing every single part of the business. I was running in the sales, I was doing installations, I was working in the office. I would call and answer my phone 24/7. I never thought that someone who's so close to you would betray you. Man, I would even cover for him when he would cheat on his wife. And that's when I learned never to do business with a man who cheats on his wife. Because if he cheats on his wife, he's gonna cheat on you. He was cheating on her left and right, telling me he needed it just so he could feel good about himself, telling me that he had a hard life, that he truly needed support, that he loves me, that I'm his little brother. You know, but within time, after everything happened, something changed in me. Because I literally had a key to his own house. I had a bedroom in his house. He would pay me anytime I needed money. He would give me advance. He took care of me, and I took care of him. For me, that relationship was like a sacred relationship. I thought he was gonna be my business partner forever. I never thought we were going to split. I remember the time that he looked at me and he said, no matter what, I got your back. No matter what. But when someone's got your back and you're not looking what's behind you, you never know when that sword is gonna come. When they're going to betray you. When they're going to backstab you. A relationship like that sometimes could be good, but sometimes could end really bad. Because when you put all your trust and your faith into somebody, you have a lot to lose. When you lose somebody like that, you lose a lot because you put so much faith in them. So I let him run the money, I let him run the bank accounts, I let him pay me whatever he believed was owed to me that month. I never looked at the funds, but we would go out together. We would travel with a bunch of friends to Vegas, we would party. He would always bring girls. The guy was a big player and he knew how to play the game. All of his money, he practically would spend on women. Women, alcohol, and some drugs. And for me, I was never about drugs and wasn't even a big fan of alcohol. But sometimes we would sit down, we would have a drink. He would call some girls, bring them over. And then when girls would show up on his phone, he would tell his wife that the reason a girl is texting him was because he got the number for me because I didn't have my phone on me at the time. And now he's texting her for me. He was lying back and forth. He was lying to everybody, but I never thought he would lie to me. You have to understand, me coming out of jail, I wasn't such an easy guy. He knew I could break his face. He knew I could also break his legs. But for some reason, he got so comfortable with me that he believed that he could take some, and as long as I still make good money, it's completely fine. Within a year and a half, I then come to realize that he sold hundreds of thousands of dollars from me. And that's when I started thinking, what am I gonna do to him? You know, for a second, when you love somebody so much and you care about them so much, your first thought is, I'm gonna kill him. He betrayed me this way, he must go. That's what you first think about. So when I talked to him over the phone and told him that I found out, he said, please don't kill me. And when I actually thought about the fact that I wanted to kill him, I also thought about the fact that I would never do that. That was actually the moment when I realized a king was born. Because kings look at the flaws of others and they learn from them. See, the difference between a smart man and a wise man is that the smart man doesn't get into corners and shit that the wise man knows how to get out of. Today I'm a wise man, but I'm also a smart man. I've been through a lot in my life. At that point in time, when I said to myself I wasn't going to do anything to him, I realized that a king was born. A humble king that just wanted to show him now that I'm going to do something way better than he's ever done before. And I did. Let me share with you. You know, being a king, that is a very difficult thing to become. And the reason is because you have to rise above all, but at the same time, not put anyone down. When I spoke to him, he wanted to give me some of the money back. He didn't have everything at one shot, but he said he will do payments. And my answer to him was this: keep all the money. Keep it for meds. You will need to use it at some point. My revenge is to show you that right now I'm gonna do something way bigger than you've ever done and bigger than you'll ever be. From here on, the rest of your life, you're gonna live like shit. Why? Because karma is a bitch. But from here on, I will rise. I will rise higher than you could ever imagine. And when I'll get there, you'll be on the sidelines saying, I used to know that guy. Don't forget to tell them you betrayed that guy when you said, I used to know that guy. Share with them the story. Tell them what you've done. You know, when I left, there was so much pain in my heart. The pain of someone literally killing you after being betrayed by my dad. And my dad told me nobody was ever gonna love me. And then being betrayed by somebody who pretends he's your brother, who shares with you all of his secrets, who speaks to you every time you're upset or you're sad. And you speak to them every time they're upset and they're sad. You listen to them. You give them advice, they give you advice. It feels good when there's a brotherhood where another man tells you, don't worry, I got your back. Don't worry, I'm always gonna be here. We're brothers forever, until the end. That feels really good, but it hurts a lot. It hurts deep when they betray you and break that word. So love could get you hurt and also could get you killed. You have to really be careful with love. You might love the wrong person. And in many cases, that's exactly what happens. You see, when I left, the fire that I had in my heart and the anger that I had in my soul, I used it as fuel. I used it as so much fuel. I had no fear. I was ready to die again. With that kind of attitude, when I went into business, I remember I had maybe $70,000, $80,000. That's as much as I saved up because obviously I thought money was going to last forever and money was going to come in all the time. So we spent a shit ton of money. I took my money and I went and opened up my own business. When I opened my business, I started doing so well, so good, that everybody started speaking about me. There is nothing I love more than people talking about me. And why I love it so much? Because my grandma told me when I was a young boy, Ben, as long as people speak about you, whether it's good or bad, it means you're still alive. It means that you're still important enough for people to speak about you. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Publicity is publicity, but there is bad relationships. So as I rose above my pain, I started to make a lot of money. And everyone in town started to work for me. One day, I decided I was gonna go get a supercar. That was the first supercar I got. But when I was thinking about Lambos and I was thinking about Ferraris, I was like, I want something classy, bossy, but a supercar. So I went and started looking at cars. And when I got over to the dealer, started looking at these Lambos, beautiful. At the time, they were Gallardos. I was looking at some Ferraris. It's a little bit more for an older person. But then I started looking at Bentleys. And I saw this beautiful Bentley in the showroom. And to me, you have to understand, to come and look at these cars at that age, coming out of jail with fire in me, to do well, then someone comes here and betrays you, all that fire that you have inside of you, he tries to put it out. Most people fall, they break, they'll never come back up. But when you use it as fuel and you know how to transmute negative energy into positive energy, you become unstoppable. You have to understand that having energy, whether it's good or bad, you can always use it towards something good. It's called a shift of energy. Just like you can have a shift of beliefs, you can have the shift of mind. Just shifting it. You're angry, upset, go do something good with it. So as I was looking at some new cars, and I won't forget that day, you know? I really wouldn't forget that day. I went to look at these cars and I see a Bentley, I see it in the showroom, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. It was like a white color, but it had like 4 tones to it. And it was a Bentley Super Sport. The seats were red with black interior together mixed with carbon fiber. There was racing seats. There was a bar behind the seats just to stabilize the car because it was so fast. That thing had like 700 horsepower. I won't forget sitting in that car and feeling like I'm the fucking shit. I'm the shit. I felt like a god just sitting in that car. And I tell the sales guy, I'm like, hey, how much is this car? And he goes, it's 300K. I go, what? 300K? I have to understand, this was like in 2010. 300K? I was like, yep, but it's the best of the best. I'm like, okay, what do I have to put down? I sat there the whole day to be able to get a loan and to put money down. Man, it was amazing. It felt so amazing to know that now he will see me driving that car. I didn't care about people seeing me drive that car. I wanted him to see me drive that car. So I got the car. After a very long day at the dealer, I got the car. And I remember I was driving it on the freeway, leaving Calabasas, back towards where I live. I lived in Woodland Hills at the time. And man, I felt like a god. I had my windows down. Every single person that was driving by was looking at me. If I waved at somebody, they waved at me. Felt like the president. Hey, what's going on? The president of the United States just arrived. Fuck, a year prior to that, I was in jail in the hole. Can you imagine? Sitting in the hole, believing your life is over, possibly facing life. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you're out driving a Bentley, Super Sport, the best of the best. That felt good. You see, cars are trophies. Houses are trophies. When you get a certain car, it's for status. You don't really get it because you're a stupid individual buying a car that will take you from place A to place B, the same as a $20,000 vehicle. And oh, you just want to spend $300,000 because it says Bentley on it? Yeah, it's because of status. When people buy status, they pay more. And I'll tell you what, it feels good. It felt really good. Even though today, because I've had all the cars in the world, cars don't mean much to me and it's very hard to impress me. But man, if you're starting young, and you get your first car and it's a nice car, it feels good. But what feels even better is doing it as revenge. Getting revenge out on everybody. Where they look at you and they say, hey, I used to know that guy. I used to be his partner. We used to work together. Yeah, but I fucked it up. Now look at him. Look at where I could have been. Imagine where we would have been today. Somewhere completely different. Maybe we would have had a big company together. Maybe he would have been a part of the rest of my businesses, my patents. Maybe he would have been a multi-millionaire like me. Too bad. It's sad how people don't see the future. You know, he who can see the invisible can do the impossible. You have to see the future. If you have a good relationship with somebody, you want to make sure to preserve it. And let me tell you the best part about this story. One day I'm driving to my office and I'm in my Bentley. And right before I get in my office, I decide to stop and get some breakfast. There was an Israeli restaurant serving great breakfast, by the way. They're no longer around. I come over there, and as I'm about to park, I pull right in front of the restaurant, and who comes out? Yep, the guy comes out, looks at me. It's like, what the fuck? I heard you're doing well, but look at you. He couldn't believe it. You ever seen a dark-skinned guy turn completely white and pale? Like he saw a ghost? That's what it was like. He saw a ghost because he couldn't believe that I did that without him. He thought that he was my success, but then he realized that I was his success. I'm the one who got him to where he got to. But I got him there with his backup saying, I got you. Because when someone tells you they believe in you, you will do everything to prove them right. There's this urge inside of you to prove them right. And if somebody told you you're not gonna make it, you also have an urge inside of you to prove them wrong, to prove them that you made it. You know, working with him, as much as he was a brother, some things were holding me back. I couldn't actually be my own boss. Even when you have a partner, sometimes a partner could hold you back. When we were working on the business, it was an air conditioning business. We did very well. Matter of fact, let me tell you how it went. At first, he was doing carpet cleaning, and I wanted to come in and start working for him. When I came in, he said, hey, I want to open up an air conditioning business. He heard that in air conditioning, there's a lot of money. I told him, you know what? I know air conditioning. I could do it. He said, really? He said, because I don't know anything about it. I just know how to run a business. I told him, don't worry. I know exactly how to do it. One for one, I will make the best company out of our company. And he looked at me, and he kind of like felt like, hey, this young man, he really believes in himself, but does he really know? And let me tell you what I did. He needed telemarketers. Since I just came out of jail, I knew how to talk to these guys. All telemarketers, they're drug users, they're drug addicts, they just came out of jail, they're about to go back to jail, they're out on warrants. These are the guys. Who else are you gonna have in a boiler room? A bunch of highly educated graduates? No, these are all felons. So all I did was find out where the other businesses are, went by there, waited for them to come out to lunch, and started talking to everybody. Told them I have the biggest company, and I need a few good guys. Within no time, I brought telemarketers. I was also the young guy in town. I knew everybody. I grew up here. He didn't. He was from Israel. Since I knew everybody, it was easy for me to drag sales guys from other companies. I pulled sales guys from here, sales guys from there, pulled a guy who told us how to run the office. I pulled telemarketers, started bringing in workers, going out to these leads. I was on fire. But I always wanted to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and he was a bit holding me back, because obviously bigger means more money. Not just making more money, but also spending more money. You have production, you have overhead, you have installation, you have sales guys, you have secretaries, you have assistants, you have bookkeeping, full company, rents, vans, all of those things, they cost money. So as I wanted to grow very rapidly, he was still telling me, all right, step by step, let's bring one more sales guy. I'm like, why? Let's bring 20 telemarketers. Let's go ahead and bring 10 sales guys. Let's bring 10 vans. At the time, I didn't understand, but he didn't have the funds. It takes a lot of money. But he made me believe that he was extremely rich. And when I was working with him, he decided he was going to start showing off a little bit more. And we went to get for him a Maserati. The Maserati was like 3 years old. It was a Gran Turismo, but it was like a sports car. And I remember going out with him to the clubs, and we pull up in the Maserati, and I felt like we were the shit. It really felt like we were the shit. But when I went to buy my car, I bought it from the same dealer. And looking at the way that things happened back then, man, I'm very good at payback. He bought the car, it was 80 grand, 3 years old. I bought it brand new, 300K. But when I left, and when I looked in his eyes and I told him he could keep the money, something in his eyes told me that he knew he lost something special. We know that he lost something special now, but he knew it back then. So when I went to buy the car, I made sure that my car was at least 3 times more than his. It was brand new and better, and that's why I felt like a god. But when I left and I started operating on my own business, I went to rent it out a place, got a bunch of telemarketers. I went back to the drawing board. I went back and I looked at everything we've done and started analyzing how we could do it better. And that time I didn't sleep for days. When you feel betrayed and you have to do something, also I'm somebody that has to retaliate. I can't just let things go. I felt like I had to do something to him. So it took a few days to just calm down from it, As much as I was trying to show that I'm calm, inside of me I was fire. Even speaking about it now, there's still fire in me. And the fire is there, you know why? He never said I'm sorry. He never apologized. He could have, but he never did. They say that God says, if someone says I'm sorry, you must agree to his apology. You must forgive him. But it's hard for people to forgive. But what happens when someone doesn't apologize? When someone doesn't tell you he's sorry? What then? As a 19-year-old boy, you're still naive. It doesn't matter if you were in jail, if you were on the streets. You still have that bit of naiveness. You think you're a man, that's for sure. You just think. You will learn within time you weren't. You were not a man. You were a young man or an old boy, but definitely not a man. But that's when I manned the fuck up. When I went back to the drawing board, I spent days. I looked at all the ins and outs of the company. Some things he was doing, so I didn't know, and I had to just start learning them. But I went back and I said, okay, these are the sales guys I'm going to target. I'm going to get all of them. These here are the people I need for the office. That person, I'm going to take them and put them in production. That team, I'm going to put them in telemarketing. These women, these are going to be my secretaries. That woman right there, she's going to be my confirmer and my verifier. That guy right there, he'll do rehash and reloads, call in all the leads, past leads. And I put together a team. And I offered everybody more money than anyone was paying them. And I didn't even know how I'm going to pay them at the end of the week. But everybody believed in me, and I don't even know how. It was almost like God made sure that everything was going to work out for me. You see, when you're doing God's deed, you will work in God's speed. He will connect all the dots. The puzzle will always be perfect. Right before you fall, God is always there. He's always on time. We were making about 60 grand a month. When I went on my own, the first month I made 150K. The second month, I made 200K. The third month, I passed it. And every month we went up and up and up and up. You know how good that felt? That I did it on my own? Man, it felt good. It felt amazing. All of a sudden, you don't feel like yourself anymore. You feel like the world is in your hands. You feel bigger than the world. And it's crazy because it's just a feeling. You're not really bigger than the world. What I could tell every young man out there is that when you encounter situations like that, you gotta know how to step away from them with class. Having resilience, being stoic, that's something that's very difficult for people nowadays, especially for men. Men naturally are supposed to be this way. I want every single one of my fans to remember this. The best revenge is success. The best revenge is success. Haters are watching. Haters watch very closely. People that betrayed you also are watching very closely. But if you want to rise as a king, you must do it with success. Nothing tastes better than your success. And nothing will hurt them more than your success. When your success is bigger than theirs, they're always going to sit back and say, shit, I wish I would have never done that. And it is what it is. They're going to have to eat it up and stay with it forever. And some of them might come back to you. They're going to tell you that they knew you were always going to make it. Don't let them back in your life. But say this, I know you did. Thank you. I appreciate you reaching out. Wish you the best of luck. That will absolutely destroy them.